What happens when a military standoff suddenly turns into a direct exchange of strikes? That's the question dominating headlines right now as tensions between the United States and Iran appear to have entered a dangerous new phase. A downed American military helicopter, retaliatory airstrikes, missile launches across the Gulf region, and growing fears that a wider conflict could be on the horizon. For weeks, there had been cautious optimism that diplomacy might create a path toward stability. Officials were talking about negotiations. Analysts were discussing possible agreements. Some even believed the region might be moving away from confrontation. But then everything changed. Now the world is watching to see whether this latest escalation is simply another chapter in a long-running standoff, or the beginning of something much bigger. And perhaps the biggest question of all is this: are both sides sending messages, or are they moving closer to a conflict neither side can easily control? Let's break it all down. To understand why this story matters, you have to understand the importance of the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway is one of the most strategically important locations on Earth. A significant portion of the world's energy supplies move through this region, making it critical not only for the Middle East, but for global markets and international security. Whenever tensions rise in this area, governments, investors, military planners, and ordinary citizens around the world pay attention. The United States has maintained a military presence in the region for decades, working alongside partners and allies to protect shipping routes and regional stability. Iran, meanwhile, has long viewed foreign military activity near its borders as a major security concern. As a result, the region has often become a stage for power struggles, military signaling, diplomatic negotiations, and periodic confrontations. What makes the current situation especially significant is that recent events involve direct military action from both sides. That raises the stakes dramatically. According to reports, the latest crisis began after an American Army Apache helicopter was brought down during operations connected to ongoing regional tensions. Fortunately, reports indicate that the helicopter's crew members survived and were successfully rescued. But the incident immediately triggered a strong response from Washington. Shortly afterward, U.S. forces launched strikes against multiple sites associated with Iranian military infrastructure. Reports indicate that the targets included radar installations, surveillance systems, and air defense-related facilities. Military analysts say those types of targets are particularly important because they help provide battlefield awareness and defensive capabilities. By focusing on those systems, commanders can potentially reduce an adversary's ability to monitor military activity and respond effectively during future operations. Supporters of the strikes argue that the response was designed to send a clear message: attacks on American personnel or military assets will not go unanswered. Critics, however, warn that retaliatory actions can create a cycle of escalation that becomes increasingly difficult to control. The situation became even more complicated when reports emerged that Iran responded with missile and drone activity directed toward locations associated with U.S. interests in the Gulf region. Those developments immediately raised concerns among security experts who worry that continued exchanges could pull additional countries into the crisis. Meanwhile, the broader regional environment remains highly unstable. Multiple conflicts and security challenges are already unfolding across the Middle East, creating a situation where one incident can quickly have wider consequences. That's one reason why military planners and diplomats alike are paying such close attention to every move being made by both Washington and Tehran. At this point, both sides appear determined to demonstrate strength while also trying to avoid an uncontrolled escalation. Whether that balance can be maintained remains one of the biggest uncertainties. A remarkable element of this story involves the rescue operation that followed the helicopter incident. According to reports, advanced unmanned technology played a major role in recovering the crew. Military observers say the operation highlighted how rapidly modern warfare is changing. In previous decades, rescue missions often required large numbers of personnel and exposed additional troops to significant risks. Today, autonomous and remotely operated systems are increasingly becoming part of military planning. Supporters view these technologies as life-saving innovations that can reduce danger to service members. Others caution that the growing reliance on advanced systems introduces new strategic and ethical questions. Either way, the rescue operation has become one of the most talked about aspects of the entire incident. As expected, reactions have been sharply divided. Supporters of the administration argue that a firm response was necessary. From their perspective, failing to respond decisively after an attack on American military assets could encourage future aggression. They believe demonstrating strength is essential for deterrence. Many also argue that targeting military infrastructure rather than pursuing broader military objectives suggests an effort to remain measured while still protecting U.S. interests. On the other hand, critics are expressing concern about the potential risks of escalation. They worry that repeated military exchanges could create unintended consequences and increase the likelihood of a larger conflict. Some foreign policy analysts argue that while military responses may address immediate threats, long-term stability ultimately requires diplomacy. Others point out that previous periods of tension between the United States and Iran have shown how quickly misunderstandings or miscalculations can spiral into larger crises. International observers are also watching closely. Many governments are urging restraint and encouraging diplomatic engagement. Global markets have reacted cautiously as investors assess whether regional instability could affect energy supplies and economic conditions. Meanwhile, ordinary Americans are asking practical questions. Could this situation impact gas prices? Could it affect U.S. troops stationed overseas? Could it draw the United States into a broader military commitment? Those concerns help explain why this story is receiving so much attention. So where do things go from here? There are several possible paths. The first possibility is controlled de-escalation. In this scenario, both sides continue sending political and military signals, but stop short of major new actions. Diplomatic channels remain open, and negotiations eventually regain momentum. Many analysts believe this remains the preferred outcome for all parties involved. The second possibility is continued tit-for-tat exchanges. Under this scenario, limited military actions continue periodically. Neither side seeks a full-scale conflict, but both remain willing to respond when challenged. History shows that this type of prolonged standoff can last for months or even years. The third possibility is the one many experts hope to avoid. That would involve a major escalation triggered by a miscalculation, an unexpected incident, or an attack that produces significant casualties. In highly tense environments, even relatively small events can rapidly change strategic calculations. Another factor worth watching is the role of technology. Recent events highlighted how drones, autonomous systems, surveillance networks, and precision strike capabilities are reshaping modern military operations. Future confrontations may increasingly be defined not only by traditional military strength, but also by technological innovation. At the same time, diplomacy remains a critical piece of the puzzle. Despite the military activity, many analysts believe neither Washington nor Tehran necessarily wants a prolonged, large-scale war. The challenge is finding a pathway that allows both sides to claim strategic success while reducing the risk of further confrontation. That is often much easier said than done. For now, the Middle East remains on edge. A downed helicopter, retaliatory strikes, missile launches, and growing uncertainty have combined to create one of the most closely watched international stories of the moment. The coming days and weeks could reveal whether recent events represent a temporary spike in tensions or the beginning of a more serious confrontation. One thing is certain: the decisions made by leaders on all sides right now could have consequences that extend far beyond the region itself. We'll continue following every major development and breaking down what it means for America, for the Middle East, and for the wider world. If you found this report informative, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next report.
Wide awake, scrolling through every move you make. You said I'm fine, yeah, classic you, but I know that line ain't ever true. Got your hoodie still in my room, smells like a cheap cologne perfume. Tryna act like I don't care, but your ghost is everywhere. You say we're good, but we're not the same. Now I'm dancing in the pouring rain. Thought we would forever, guess I was wrong. Now I'm just another sad love song. You left me on red, yeah, no reply. Got me overthinking every night. Was it real or just a vibe? Guess I'll never know this time. You said ride or die, and you dipped so fast. Now I'm stuck living in the past. Yeah, you played me like a game instead. Now I'm crying 'cause you left me on red. 'cause you left me on red. Your playlist still got my name, but you don't feel the same. That's insane. Posting pics like you're okay while I'm breaking every single day. You said no drama, no goodbyes, but you vanished like a lullaby. Now I'm staring at my screen like, what did you really mean? Every text I never sent, every word I still regret. You moved on like nothing's wrong while I'm stuck inside this song. You left me on red, yeah, no reply. Got me overthinking every night. Was it real or just a vibe? Guess I'll never know this time. You said ride or die, then you dipped so fast. Now I'm stuck living in the past. Yeah, you played me like a game instead. Now I'm crying 'cause you left me on red. Maybe I was just a phase, just a spark that fades away. But you were my whole damn sky. Now I'm learning how to say goodbye. Yeah, I'm done with your mixed signals, your late night, I miss your riddles. You lost me, yeah, that's your loss. Now I'm stronger, I'm my own boss. You left me on red, but now I'm fine. Got my heart back, yeah, it's mine. Wasn't love just a disguise? Now I see through all your lies. You said ride or die, but I survived. Now I'm finally feeling alive. Yeah, you broke me, but instead I found myself when you left me on red. 2 a.m. but I'm okay. No more tears, I walked away. You lost me, yeah, that's the end. No reply, I hit send.